Hi everybody, this is Scott Sharp with Fretboard Toolbox, and today we're going to look at the key of G major, and we're going to look at the G major scale, G major pentatonic, the G minor pentatonic, and the G blues scale, and I'll show you how to mess around with those with some backing tracks, and by the end hopefully you'll be able to see those all up and down the Baritone Uke fretboard super easy. So let's get started and I'll show you how it works. Okay, today we're going to be using a Fretboard Toolbox Complete Baritone Ukulele Interactive ebook, my new second edition books, which have much bigger font and are easier to see. And we're going to mess around with the G major and G major pentatonic, clicking here. And then we're going to mess around with the G minor pentatonic and the G blues by clicking here. So let me show you the G major first. Okay, and what I want you to pay attention to here is on the scale type, major scales use notes in the 1 through 7 columns, and that's the white boxes here. Okay, so G is 1, A is 2, B is 3, C is 4, D is 5, E is 6, F sharp is 7. That's your major scale. And then a major pentatonic just takes 2 of those notes out. It's 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. So that's 1, 2, 3. G, A, B, skip the 4, 5, 6, skip the 7 here, and then that's it. So the major pentatonic ones are underlined, G, A, B, D, E, and the major scales all in white, and then these guys in italics are bluesy, so we're not going to use them yet, but we will soon. So let me show you some chord progressions here that you could mess around with, and so I'll show you how to find backing tracks for free on the website where you can I play along through all these guys. And then this is the bread and butter here. This is the fretboard layout. So all the white boxes are the G major scale notes, and all the underlined notes are the G major pentatonic notes. So if I want to go from G to G here, it would look like this. That's the G major scale. Going back down, G, F sharp, E, D, C, B, A, G. And then I can even go. Okay, and that was just walking down F sharp, E, D, E, F sharp, and then back to G. And so the fun part about being able to see those notes all over the fretboard is I can find places to play them in different locations. So here's G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G. Okay, that's starting on this G here, starting right here. Or I could play G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G, like this. Okay, and then once I get there, I can just mess around in all sorts of different cool patterns and just kind of build those shapes. So it's not about memorizing every note you're playing, but it's about memorizing the shapes and the shapes that feel good and sound good together. And then the major pentatonic are the underlined notes. So going G to G there, I could play G, A, B, D, E, G. Okay, so that's G, A, B, D, E, G. Once I get here, okay, so that was G, A, B, A, G, E, D, B, A, G, I'm pretty sure. That's all major pentatonic. And so those kind of major pentatonic and the major scale would sound good with any of these chord progressions here. And if you want to mess around with those, go to the Fretboard Toolbox website, go to Tracks and Tabs and 200 free jam tracks. And I've got a whole bunch of keys here where I play through all sorts of jam tracks. But if you scroll down to the very bottom, it's all the jam tracks on shuffle. So any chord progression that comes up here, I can mess around with this major scale. Okay, that's the major scale. Now here's major pentatonic, just the underline. So that's all over a G, that's G, C, D, a 1-4-5 chord progression. If we wanted to try some wilder chord progression, here's a 1, well, let's do, what should we do? Let's do 1-6-4-5. Okay, so now I'm adding in a different chord, but watch how the same notes sound cool. Okay, let's switch now to the major pentatonic. So you can try out any of those chord progressions, and you can use those that major pentatonic, and it's going to sound good. But then when I want to get bluesy sounds, what I need to do is go to the key of G blues page, and now we're going to focus on the minor pentatonic and the blues scale. And the minor pentatonic is 1 flat 3 4 5 flat 7. So across this first line here, it's 1 flat 3 4 5 flat 7. Okay, so that's G, B flat, C, D, F. Okay, and if we want to see that down here, well, let me just show you real quick. The blues one is going to be just like the minor pentatonic, except I'm adding this flat 5, which is shown with an asterisk. So it's going to be G, B flat, C, D flat, the flat 5, D, and F. Okay, and that's going to be the cool bluesy sounds over a G, in the key of G. Okay, so if I come down, here's some chord progressions that I also play through on that Jam Tracks page. You can try these out with. But everything in white boxes now is the G minor pentatonic scale, and then the flat 5 note has that asterisk. So now listen, right off the bat, when I go G, B flat, you're already going to hear it sound bluesier. So that's like this: G, B flat, C, D, F, G. And then I went F, G, so flat 7, root. And then you can find these cool little places like this little pattern right here. You can get all sorts of cool sounds out of. Oops. So that's cool. When you make those mistakes, like that time I went down to the A note and it just kind of lost the feel. So everything else was white boxes, and then when I hit that A, it was like, not exactly. But if I had like pulled that A up to a B flat, I could have brought it back to that bluesy. Okay, so then if I want to hear what that sounds like over some chord progressions, I can go back to the 200 free jam tracks page, click on the Some Blues jam tracks. Okay, and then here's just a simple 12-bar blues. Now listen to those notes I was just playing over this 12-bar blues. And then that time I hit this G sharp here. That didn't sound that good, but that's okay. You just keep going. And then let me show you that flat 5 note is this D flat. Okay, so the flat 5 is just taking whatever's in the 5 column and flattening it, and then that has all sorts of cool sounds too. So now if I add this little asterisk in there, we can try just messing around with that and see. Okay, so you hear that. There's the flat 5, 4, flat 3, 1, flat 7, 1. Okay, so that was B flat, G, F, D, flat 5, C, B flat, G. Okay, and then if we play that with some jam tracks. So the idea is not to worry about mess ups, because mess ups are so critical, and like I don't stress out when I mess up like that. I guess sometimes I do, but then I have to remind myself, don't get frustrated about that, because that is just as important as the successes. Like when you're learning to walk and you trip and fall, it's not like, well, I'm never going to learn to walk. You know, babies don't say that. They just trip and fall and they're like, oh, get back up and keep going. And they learn something from whatever made them fall. And we do the same thing every time we make mistakes when we're messing around like this. So the big thing today is just being able to see, you know, where's my major scale, where's my major pentatonic, where's my minor pentatonic, where's my blues scale, and then just taking the time to mess around and kind of feel what happens when you play with those, and what happens if I play the major pentatonic here, the underline notes on this page, but then if I throw in some bluesy notes. So like I could just mess around with. So that was D, E, G, A, slide up to B. And notice every time I do that A slide up to B, I'm running right through one of those bluesy notes. That's the flat third. B flat, there's the flat third. Then I go D, E, G, and then I grab that B flat, the flat third up here. There's B flat, A, G, D, or E, G. So I can mix those scales up too, and I can, when you understand where those sounds are coming from, and like the flat third and flat 7 are giving me blues sounds, and minor pentatonic, I mean, if you look at the minor pentatonic, the two cool notes in there is the flat third and the flat 7. The other notes in the minor pentatonic is the 1 and the 4 and the 5. So those are just common to the major and minor scales, but the flat third and flat 7 is going to be your bluesy notes. And when you understand that, then it really starts to make licks make more sense, and it kind of opens up tons of ideas for you, given enough time to mess around with the ideas. So the cool part about toolboxes for me is that I can see those scales all over the fretboard in all of these different major keys and blues keys and relative minor keys. And the other cool thing for me is that once I kind of see how that works, then I can mess around with I can see those ideas on all sorts of different instruments. So Fretboard Toolbox has used the exact same setup for all these different instruments, and there's even piano down there that we can't see right now. But once you get it on one instrument, you can see right away, like, oh, I can find a major pentatonic on any instrument, and I can figure out some chords that sound good together and play along with some jam tracks, and just hopefully open up some new ideas. So I appreciate you joining me for another Fretboard Friday, and I appreciate you stopping by. And if you found something useful, please like and subscribe and help spread the word. And I'll be back next Friday with a new video on a new instrument. Thanks for taking a look.